after discussing the big boys on my list of the best 5 offensive linemen to ever play under Nick Saban at the University of Alabama, we have returned from the break on In My Own Words, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, as I continue my installment for the summer, the offseason, on top 5 at each position under Nick Saban at Alabama. I mentioned prior to taking the break there that I wanted to get into quarterbacks, but after taking some notes and information from you guys, the smart fans of Crimson Tide football, the ones that crave the information, that want to know the best about your particular program, that being Alabama football, you guys said, no, Steven, not quarterbacks. Let's do secondary. Let's do defensive backs. I said, fine. Would you like for me to keep the corners and safeties together? You guys responded, no, separate the two. So, with that being said, seeing how the safeties under Nick Saban have had a bit more production than the corners, I've separated the position groups from each other. And as I look at the top 5 list I have here at safeties under the Saban era, this was hard for me. There were a couple of guys I had to leave off, didn't like it, but here we go. At number 5, going with Eddie Pick 6 Jackson. Eddie Jackson, number 5. Jackson, who came into Alabama as a 4-star from Boyd Anderson High School, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and that vaunted 2013 signing class. Jackson playing from 2013 to 2016. He came in as a wide receiver. Due to the depth at wide receiver, Alabama flipped him early on to defensive back. And at the beginning of Jackson's career, the thought was almost he would pass up Cyrus Jones to be the big-time corner for the Crimson Tide. If you remember, Cyrus Jones, when he was flipped over to DB in 2013, had some struggles, especially in the Texas A&M game going up against Mike Evans. Eddie Jackson, quite the contrary, 19 tackles that season, 16 solo stops, had a couple of forced fumbles, and a critical interception in the Ole Miss game. Alabama shutting out the Rebels 25-0 at Bryant-Denny Stadium. So to start his career, Eddie Jackson was looking like he was going to be a next-level cornerback. Unfortunately, the 2014 spring suffered an injury to his knee, an anterior cruciate ligament tear there, was rushed back from the injury in August, and when he was rushed back, you saw a good bit of the speed was not there, got burned on plays, tried his darndest to be in phase, in sync, in action, but with that knee injury, Eddie Jackson just did not look the same at corner in 2014 as he did the previous season. And then 2015, you look at, here comes Mel Tucker from the National Football League to coach the secondary, and then a sudden move from corner to safety took place for Jackson, and the young man blossomed. I mean, that move to safety, big-time move. Eddie Jackson, the ability to track the football, funnel the ball to the middle of the field, get guys lined up in front of him. 6 interceptions in 2015, including 2 returns for touchdowns, one against Georgia, one against Texas A&M, and the 41-23 beatdown of the Aggies at College Station. The guy had a major year. Of the 6 interceptions, one of them a critical one in the college football playoff national title game against Clemson, the first meeting between Alabama's defense and Deshaun Watson, as Jackson baited Watson into a poor throw. Jackson making the play. Alabama able to get the 45-40 win, securing a national championship. And after the great season he had in 2015, phenomenal year, everybody, including myself, thought Jackson would come back in 2016 and solidify himself as a first-round pick. Did not happen. It started off playing so well. Had an interception against Western Kentucky for a touchdown, and then had the punt return scores against Mississippi, against Tennessee, and then Texas A&M. After he went beast mode against the Aggies 2015, 2016, Kevin Sumlin, Texas A&M, comes to Bryant-Denny in Tuscaloosa. There's that gruesome punt return, the freak accident, breaks his leg on the punt return. Alabama fans just disgusted. Eddie Jackson in tears, hurt, anguish, frustrated, finds out he's going to miss the remainder of the season. And despite him being named the team captain at the team award banquet, and that was awesome, if Eddie Jackson was to have played in that national title game against Clemson the second time around, you have a lot of Bama fans that believed Crimson Tide would have won that football game. Taking nothing away from Minkah Fitzpatrick, Minkah did his thing. When Fitzpatrick found out it was a season-ending injury for Jackson, he took on the challenge. He said, Eddie, I got you. I'm going to play in your spot. I'm going to honor you. I'm going to represent you, my boy. I'm riding in the cut with you. Son, I got you. And Minkah did that. Played huge in that 2016 season when Eddie went down. Minkah Fitzpatrick, 6 interceptions to his own credit that year. But it's just, if Eddie would have played, because of the fact he knew what to do, he knew how to get people lined up, he knew how to funnel the football, he knew how to track the ball and bait the eyes of the quarterback and the decision-making of that quarterback, you have a lot of Bama fans that just felt like if Eddie would have played, Bama would have won this football game. But Eddie Jackson, be that as it may, still got drafted, still went 4th round, pick 102 to the Chicago Bears in the 2017 NFL Draft. Had a great rookie season. Looking forward to more from that young man. But for me, Eddie is number 5. At number 4 on my list of top 5 safeties to play in the Nick Saban era, I'm going with Ha Clinton-Dix from 2011 to 2013, the 5-star out of Dr. Phillips High School in Orlando, Florida. Came in 2011, but 2012 is when you really saw Clinton-Dix separate himself from the pack. Had 4 interceptions that 2012 season, the year in which the Tide went back-to-back BCS national championships, 2011 and 2012. Just had a knack for funneling the football, high pointing the ball, had a lot of range, being able to go from one side of the field to another, not give up ground, just tremendous elevation in breaking up on the football, high pointing the ball, creating turnovers, sound, secure tackler. 2013 had 51 tackles, which was 4th on the team that season. 6 career interceptions, once again, 4 of those coming in 2012. That was also the season he helped Alabama's defense give up 10.9 points per game. Clinton-Dix, a consensus All-American in that 2013 season, was also a first-team All-SEC selection, went in the first round of a 2014 NFL Draft, 21st overall pick to the Green Bay Packers, played from 2011 to 2013, but that 2012 season was an interception machine, helped that Alabama defense get back to the national championship game where it put a 41-14 beating on Notre Dame. And then the following year, Clinton-Dix, 51 tackles, 4th on the team, parlaying that into him getting drafted in the first round. Number 4 on this list, I have Ha Clinton-Dix. To number 3, some Bama fans believe he should be number 1. Once again, this was hard for me because a lot of guys I had to leave off and trying to switch around what would make this argument concrete. But at number 3, I've got Barron On the list of safeties, top 5 safeties in the Nick Saban era, Mark Barron from 2009 to 2011 came out of St. Paul Episcopal High School in Mobile. Barron, 22 career pass breakups, had 11 his freshman year, 2009, which was third on the team. Barron also 12 career interceptions, 7 as a freshman, 09, which led the team. Barron ushered in the era of the physical, big, hard-hitting safety at Alabama. I know since then we've had Landon Collins, we've had Ronnie Harrison, but Mark Barron brought in that trend in 2009. When you talk about big-time, physical, hitting tackler, when Mark Barron hit you back then, people were reluctant to get back up. I mean, you couldn't move. You want to talk about hot tub, cold tub. Those guys took that hot tub, cold tub very seriously, especially quarterbacks, running backs, and receivers when Mark Barron lit you up. Barron in 2009, we're talking 74 tackles, which was second on the team. 2010, 75 tackles, first on the team. 2011, 66 tackles, which was second on the team. That 2011 defense, and that was a defense that had Dre Kirkpatrick, Nick Gentry, Donta Hightower, Courtney Upshaw, Benny Sunseri, C.J. Mosley. That was a defense that led the nation in all 5 major categories. We're talking total defense, scoring defense, rush defense, pass defense, and pass efficiency defense. And Mark Barron was a huge reason because of that hard-hitting, ball-hawking physicality. That year, Alabama gave up 8.2 points per game, 184 yards of offensive game, 72.2 yards rushing a game allowed, 111.5 yards per game passing. It also gave up a passer rating for opposing quarterbacks of 83.69. Mark Barron, huge deal. Barron, for his career at Alabama, 2-time All-American selection, 2010 and 2011, 3-time first-team All-SEC, which was 2009 through 2011. Mark Barron, an SEC champion in 2009, 2-time, well, not 2-time BCS national champion, that was correct, in 2009 and in 2012. My number 3 guy on this list is Mark Barron. Moving on down to number 2, I'm going to go with Minkah Fitzpatrick. The reason why I put him at number 2 is not only the injury to Eddie Jackson, which kind of propelled him, or which did propel him. Minkah came in 2015 out of St. Peter's Prep School in Old Bridge, New Jersey, wanting to be a cornerback. He wanted to be an outside island corner. That's the position he played in high school. Came to Alabama in 2015, highly intelligent. The system he played at St. Peter's Prep along the same lines of what he played at Alabama. He came in pushing Tony Brown, Marlon Humphrey, and Maurice Smith for a starting job. I mean, think about that. Tony Brown's thinking he's going to start at corner in 2015. Marlon Humphrey thinking, I'm definitely going to start at corner in 2015. Maurice Smith thinking, I'm going to definitely find my way on the field in an important role in 2015. And lo and behold, here comes this kid from Jersey. Tony Brown doesn't start in 2015. Mo Smith goes, my God, will I ever get a chance to start? He doesn't start in 2015. And Marlon Humphrey was able to squeeze his way out and get him a starting spot, but Minkah started at that nickel role at star the 2015 season. We all know the story. 45 tackles that year, 2 interceptions, both for touchdowns against Texas A&M. Ended up getting freshman All-American honors that year. Fitzpatrick, just an all-around great player. Humble kid, secure tackler, strong ball skills, tremendous instincts. he was Nick Saban on the field. I remember the players took a test to see which guy they most resembled on the team, and Minkah most resembled Nick Saban. Minkah, for his career, 171 tackles, 16 and a half of those for loss, 26 pass breakups, 9 interceptions, including 4 returned for touchdowns, which is a single-season school record, or which is a school record, excuse me. Minkah had 6 picks in the 2016 season, the year in which Eddie Jackson got hurt and he had to take over that safety spot. That 2016 defense, to me, was the best Alabama defense, not just under Nick Saban, but you can make the argument that it was the best defense in Alabama football history. You have a lot of Bama fans that grew up that were in the 1992 era. When you look at George Teague, Antonio Langham, and they feel like that team was the best defensive team because they lived through that. And then you look at the 2009 Alabama team that had Rolando McClain, Eric Anders, Courtney Upshaw, Dante Hightower, Brandon Dederick, Chris Rogers, Kareem Jackson, Javier Arenas, Marquise Johnson. And people look at that team and go, that was the best Alabama defensive team. And then you got the 2011 team that was during my freshman year at the University of Alabama with Nick Gentry and Drake Kirkpatrick, Mark Barron, D. Milner, C.J. Mosley, Dante Hightower, Courtney Upshaw, Damian Square, guys like that, and you feel like that defense was the best. You're right in every inch of the word, no matter which defense you go with. But for me, that 2016 defense that had Jonathan Allen, Tim Williams, Ryan Anderson, Reuben Foster, Marlon Humphrey, Eddie Jackson, Ronnie Harrison, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Dalvin Tomlinson, all of those dogs on one field was the best Alabama defense under Nick Saban and probably in the history of the program. And Fitzpatrick was the biggest dog of that defense. You go back, you watch the Arkansas game, 3 interceptions, 1 return for a 100-yard touchdown. You go back and you watch the Florida game from the SEC Championship in 2016. Pick 6 off Austin Appleby, helping the Tide win 54-16, just completely thrashing the Gators. And then the college football playoff semifinal against Washington, huge interception that game. Minkah just had a knack for making big plays, and it's because of that, 2-time All-American 2016, 2017, 2-time All-SEC, first-team All-SEC 2016 and 2017, and then the kid in 2017, Jim Thorpe Award winner, which goes to the nation's top defensive back, and the Chuck Bednarik Award winner, which goes to college football's Defensive Player of the Year. Minkah Fitzpatrick was selected in the first round, 11th overall pick of this year's draft to the Miami Dolphins. Looking for nothing but great things from that young man in the years to come. Minkah Fitzpatrick's number 2. The number 1 guy on my list, top safeties to come out of Alabama in the Nick Saban era. Give me Landon Collins. That's my guy right there. And from telling his mom, "Mom, I love you. I know I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, but I'm gonna rock with Saban. I'm gonna go where the rings are flashing. I'm gonna go where I know I can be a primetime premier big name player." From him spurning Louisiana State University to come to Alabama, and his career from 2012 to 2014, Landon Collins, nothing short of amazing. 2013, 69 tackles, was second only to C.J. Mosley that season. He had 5 career picks, 3 coming in that 2014 season. He had 2 in the 2013 season, including 1 for a touchdown, an 89-yard score against the Tennessee Volunteers. And kind of the same thing when you look at the Eddie Jackson, Minkah Fitzpatrick relationship. I look at the Landon Collins, Benny Sunseri relationship. In 2013, Benny Sunseri went down that season against Arkansas, tore his knee, his ACL. Wasn't the biggest guy, wasn't the fastest guy, wasn't the strongest guy, but highly intelligent was Benny Sunseri. New schemes, new strategies, knew how to find the football, how to get to the football. And a lot of Bama fans believe if Vinny does not get hurt in 2013, the kick 6 that happens against Auburn does not happen. Because Vinny finds a way to manipulate, victimize Nick Marshall, victimize the Auburn offense, and make some big plays in the secondary. But can't cry over spilled milk. It's already spilled. You go back to 2014, Landon Collins led the team in tackles with 102. But the reason why Landon Collins was so big that season, in 2014, that was the least statistically productive Alabama defense. I mean, it was the worst Alabama defense by statistics in the Nick Saban era due to, in 2014, you did have elite pass rushers. That's number 1. Number 2, this comes after C.J. Mosley made his departure to the National Football League. So you didn't know who was going to be the captain of your defense from a linebacker perspective. A lot of people thought it would be Trey DePriest. The baton 2 steps away from him, slaps Reggie Ragland right in the face. Thankfully, Ragland was able to grow with it, learn on the fly, adjust with it, but it was rough, it was tough for him. And then you look at Cyrus Jones, 2014, trying to get better, making improvements, still struggling a bit. And then Eddie Jackson coming back from that knee was rushed back. A lot was put on the shoulders of Landon Collins. He was the anchor of that defense in 2014. And nothing more proves that than you look at the Arkansas game that season. Rainy, muggy, congested, uncomfortable, DWR Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville. Alabama won the game 14-13, and who sealed the deal with an interception, that being Landon Collins. Landon Collins, throughout his career, was special against LSU, finished 3-0 for his career against the Tigers, had a career 8.5 tackles for loss, had no problems getting in the backfield, had 6 pass breakups in 2013, which was a team high, 13 career pass breakups. I mean, here's a guy that was a unanimous All-American in 2014, first team All-SEC selection that same year, 2-time SEC champion 2012 and 2014, and a BCS national champion in 2012. He's right now playing for the New York Football Giants, anticipating a huge year under first-year head coach Pat Shurmur is Landon Collins. So running back over this again, top 5 safeties of the Nick Saban era: 5, Eddie Jackson; 4, Ha Clinton-Dix; 3, Mark Barron; 2, Minkah Fitzpatrick; 1, Landon Collins. Taking a final break right now on In My Own Words. When we get back, we chat it up with the brother of Alabama quarterback coach Dan Enos. We get Gary Enos on the show. He's going to come in, talk about his brother Dan and what he thinks the Alabama fans should expect from Dan in year 1 with him working with the Crimson Tide. Don't touch that dial, folks. We'll be right back. It's your boy, Stephen M. Smith, host of In My Own Words, the podcast. If you are a fan of this show, then I encourage you to subscribe to the Touchdown Alabama Magazine YouTube channel. Also follow the brand on Facebook, Twitter, and other forms of social media as we continue to bring you the best in Alabama football and Crimson Tide athletics.